Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We're going to wait just a few minutes before we get started. Waiting for allowing our participants time to load into tonight's program. So we'll get started in just a couple minutes. Steve, can you see that number loading?
Yeah, we're at 231.
All right, it's 6:33. Steve, is that slowed down?
Yeah, you're good to go, Jim.
Okay, all right. All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Jim Schmidt, and I'm the Guidance Department Chair at Homewood Flossmoor High School. Thanks for joining us this evening as we're going to cover some information regarding this next phase of onboarding your incoming freshman students into HF over the next week or so in terms of selecting classes, meeting with your school counselor. We'll go through all those details over the next 45 minutes or so. What I'd like to do is just begin by briefly introducing our superintendent. Our current superintendent is Dr. Von Mansfield. He is retiring this year. Dr. Scott Wakely is our superintendent-elect, and he will be taking over those reins beginning July 1st officially. And then with us this evening, I'm happy and proud to announce our new principal for the upcoming school year, Mr. Clinton Alexander. Mr. Alexander is with us, and he'd like to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Good evening, class of 2026. As Mr. Smith said, my name is Clinton Alexander. I'm proud to be your new principal of HF High School. And we have a slogan that goes, "We are HF." And we take pride in that. And we are looking forward to this incoming class because we know there's some bright horizons that are in your futures. And we want to help cultivate, your leadership and help you to be the best person that you can absolutely be academically, social emotionally, to be globally competitive and post-secondarily prepared. And so we have an array of course selections and resources to offer. And we are just super excited for your arrival. And so you're going to learn a lot tonight. And whatever you don't retain, feel free to reach out because we are your new family. And we're looking forward to receiving you with open arms. So that's all I wanted to say. Welcome aboard, and we're excited to have you. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Mr. Alexander. Also, I'm happy to introduce with us this evening is Dr. Jen Hester, our Director of Curriculum and Instruction. Very integral in making sure that our courses are are up to snuff, so to speak, and everything that your children need them to be in order to be successful in their course year, as well as progressing throughout Homewood Flossmoor High School. So it's a pleasure having her with us tonight, and she'll be assisting later on with Q&A. And then also not able to be with us, but also very integral in supporting our students academically, but also in terms of social emotional support is our new director of student, not our new director, newly titled Director of Student Services. Has been in this position for 3 years, Mrs. Jen Rudan. So both of these two, in addition to our other 3 admins, work very closely together with our next speaker, Mr. Dave Cush. Mr. Cush and I work very closely together with our administration, making sure that your students have exactly what you need to be successful. So I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Cush at this time.
All right, well, thank you, Jim. Just to echo everybody else, good evening and welcome to Homewood Flossmoor. We're Really excited to have you here and looking forward to beginning your educational journey with you. As Jim said, I'm the Department Chair of Assessment, where we basically manage testing, research data, and all kinds of other things along those lines. I usually introduce myself to the students as saying, I'm that guy you see around the building, but nobody ever has as a teacher. But that being said, if you want to use me as a second guidance counselor or anything like that, if there's anything I can ever do to help, if you have a question, I either will know the answer, or I probably know who I can point you to that will be able to get you an answer to that question. So I would encourage you to reach out to myself anytime that you have an opportunity, and I will be happy to help. Jim, you want to go to the next slide? So we're talking a little bit about the placement process and selecting courses for this year. So normally early on in this presentation, we've done this in the auditorium, we do a show of hands for who's first-time parent versus returning parents, but just kind of knowing that we have a mix of people in the audience, both first-time parents and people who have had students come through our school before, I'll just say, please listen carefully because the menu options have changed a little bit. So pretty straightforward. You have a course description catalog and the course selection guidelines. Those are things to take a look at and to review. Basically, this information that helps you understand what it is about our courses and how to select them and get all that stuff set up. I think that the most important thing to emphasize is that the default starting point for all students is college prep. We begin with the assumption that as students enter the building, if you've completed 8th grade, you're ready for college prep coursework. Some students are interested in moving on to honors or AP courses, and we certainly encourage that. We're happy to have conversations with you and answer any questions you may have to make sure you have all the information you need about those. Some students may need a little bit more support, and we're certainly looking into that through their reports and the information we've received from the elementary schools and junior highs. So certainly if we see anything along those lines that would warrant some additional supports, we'll be having conversations about that as well. Ultimately, just to make this clear, because I think sometimes there's this misnomer out there that we are placing kids in classes. We're not. Ultimately, you're going to make that decision based on the information provided. And as we talked about with that default being college prep, we're really confident we can move forward and everyone's going to be able to do well in the course. On Saturday, you'll attend a counselor appointment. This is an online appointment. And as you go through there, you're going to receive your course report, and that's going to have more information for you. And that's actually what we're going to discuss next. So Jim, you want to go to the next slide? So this is pretty much the kind of the key two pieces for selecting courses. The course report, which you see on the left-hand side of the screen, is pretty much information that you already know about your student. We gave them a little survey where we asked them some questions about things they like, what their home life is like, their favorite subjects, things that have gone well for them in school, things that they may have struggled with, and things along those lines. We also have their grades on the right-hand side. We've collected those from the elementary schools and gotten everything available. And then also we've picked up any test scores that students have had from the tests that are administered at the elementary schools. So those are all there. It's just kind of information. To be quite frank, since you've seen all this information before, it's as much for our staff as it is anything else to get to know your student better and have an understanding of what their goals and plans are moving forward. The course selection guidelines go in a little bit more detail about each course and then what kind of differences you can expect between the levels and things like that. It gets into things like how much homework and how much independent work versus guided practice and things like that there are. So it's a really helpful resource in making course selections. So again, a little bit more in depth about the report. Again, you'll see on the left all of the student survey responses. Your counselor will be able to send you a link to the report during the appointment. Also, if for some reason this survey didn't get completed by your student in school, they'll have a link they can take for that as well, where they can fill that information out, and then that'll show up on the report as soon as they do. So if there's any issues with the report, they can take care of that right there. And then if any other things come up, like for example, if there's grades or test scores or anything missing or something doesn't look right, please let us know. We'll be happy to get that corrected as soon as we can. And then in the meantime, certainly feel free to share any information you have and any other information that we don't have on the report with the school counselors who are going to, again, be there to help you work through the process. And then inside the course description guide, this is essentially how everything looks for each course. You'll see the basic things on each level, what academic skills are focused on, the types of self-management practices that are there, the outside of time class commitment, grading, which in many cases would include like the weights between homework and assessments and things like that. And then just any other information that we could include that might help make a decision. So aside from that, the main thing is going to be as you go through the process to kind of look through those items and think over what the primary things that your students are interested in. When you're working through the report, one thing that's going to be important to think about too is the other activities and involvement students have. So, it's all about the balance. So if you're going to be in a lot of like activities outside of school, especially those things like band and theater where they're like really time intensive, then you want to try to balance those with the sorts of course selections that you're making and just being sure that students have enough time. One of the things that we really emphasize, and it's really across the top from the state down, is that we want to see students getting A's and B's. So ultimately, that's the appropriate level where students are putting forth their maximum effort and they're able to get mostly A's and B's. They're in pretty good shape. An occasional C is okay, but we don't want to see too many of those because ultimately when we look at college, or in colleges start looking at students' high school transcripts, they're looking mostly for A's and B's in the levels that they're in. All right, so with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Jim, who obviously is giving you a little bit of information about himself and is going to pretty much drive for the rest of the presentation, tell you everything else you need to know about Saturday. So again, I'll just emphasize if there's anything else I can do to be of service or if I can be of assistance in any way, please reach out. And again, welcome and look forward to seeing everybody on campus soon.
Great, thanks, Dave, appreciate it. You know what, I meant to announce earlier, as you're listening or looking and reading, if you have any questions or comments, please go ahead and put those in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. I believe that's where that's located. Once I get through the presentation, the slides, we'll have ample time at the end in order to answer all those questions in preparation for the next steps of selecting courses. So really quick, my role as guidance department chair, I've been in this job for 13 years. At HF as the department chair of guidance. This is my 13th year doing registration and helping students select courses. I've been at HF for 18 years. I've been in education for 29. So, just in terms of, the amount of years of experience in this presentation along with Dr. Hester, with Mr. Cush, with myself, with Mr. Alexander, it's enormous, it's broad, it's deep. And we are here to help you, just have a great experience over the next 4 years. So my job in working not only with Dave, but also with all our DCs is really to help proper placement of all our students. As Dave alluded to, there's a lot of information that's out there, previous information that's very relevant in terms of selecting courses, right? Parents, students, you are part of the process. HF is not going to just be the person that says, and this kind of makes us unique. There are many schools that say, you're going into this class at this level and that's it. Parents and students, you are part of this process. It is a partnership right now between parent, student, and then school counselor. And then once you become an HF student and you start matriculating through the years, your teachers become part of that process. And all of our goals is to work together in order to help your student be properly placed, to have the most enriching experience so they can continue to grow and matriculate through high school. Our goal is to not just get our students through Homewood, Flossmoor to graduation and we're done. All right. Our goal is to prepare our students to go on beyond HF to do whatever it is they want to do. And our students currently, right, historically, they've done that. They're doing that. And those opportunities are going to be no different for your child. But you have to engage students, parents, partnership with us, right? A partnership with the parent, the student, the guidance office, the teacher. I'm telling you, if that happens, there is no opportunity that will not be afforded to your child, right? And then social emotional, as we all know, there's been a lot of changes that are going on, a lot of changes, certainly a lot of struggles, challenges. We are very aware of those and we are trying to support and meet your child's needs as much as possible. We have a very robust program. We have 8 generalist counselors. We have 2 RTI supportive counselors. We have 4 social workers. We have 2 full-time college counselors. Right? There are a lot of people here with years of experience to help support you, both academically as well as socially and emotionally. All right, let's jump right into what does this look like? HF graduation requirements. On the left-hand side of your page, you're going to see a total of 22 credits. That is the minimum amount of graduation requirements. You're going to read over the 4 years, you're going to take 4 years of history. You are going to take 3 years of math. All right. You have to be enrolled in a math class through your junior year. No exceptions to that. All right. Minimally, the graduation requirement is algebra, geometry, and algebra 2 trig. We have some students coming into HF in geometry, in algebra 2 trig, maybe even pre-calculus. Those students will still be in a math class through their junior year, as we have several accelerated levels of math beyond pre-calculus. So for science, 3 graduation requirements are biology, chemistry, and physics, social science, world history, US history, economics, and a semester of civics, US government politics. You do have the option of taking that for a full year at the AP level if you want, but that won't come until sophomore, junior, or senior year. Physical education, you will take 4 years of physical education at HF. It's a graduation requirement. Freshman year, you'll take freshman PE and health. Sophomore year, you'll take sophomore PE and driver's ed. And then junior and senior year, there's about 8 to 10 different PE classes for you to select, junior and senior year. But we won't get ahead of ourselves. Freshman year, health and PE. And then at HF, we have one other credit of graduation requirement in career and technical ed, okay? Fine arts, world language, or performing arts. That's not one credit in each area. That is one credit in those areas combined. I'll spend a little bit more time talking about those as we move through the program. Once again, total credits graduation, 22 minimally. The majority of our students will graduate with 24 to 26 credits. Our students who take advantage of summer school and take advantage of 7 periods a day, I've seen students recently graduate with 31 to 33 credits. So that's the gamut, 22 to 31 to 33 credits, okay? Freshman year is on the right-hand side. This is what your freshman year looks like. You will take English 1. You can take that at the college prep or honors level. Science, you can take that. It's biology. For those of you interested in taking biology honors in summer school to accelerate your science, you may do so by application. I'll talk about that later on. If you take biology and honors in summer school, then you can go into chemistry honors during the school year. Math, depending on where you're at right now in math, most of our students are starting in either in algebra or geometry. There's a small percentage beginning in algebra 2 trig, and there's an even smaller percentage beginning in pre-calc, but those are traditionally our freshman level math courses. And you can take those at the college prep or honors level. Health and freshman PE are both at the college prep level. Elective, and I put world language in there. Our mantra here at HF is 2 is good, 3 is better, 4 is best. Now, some people will ask, well, does that mean that I already took 1 year at the junior high? Do I need to take 2 years at the high school or just 1 more? Or how much more should I take? And the answer to that is there's not a definitive answer. It depends on the college that you're looking at. That's why we come back and say 2 years good, 3 is better, 4 is best. Traditionally, 2 additional years at the high school will serve you best minimally. Why we say 3 is better, 4 is best, just in terms of the competitive process and the admissions in the college admissions process. But is it absolutely mandatory? No, it's not. But that is a conversation to have with your school counselor on a yearly basis. All right. Do I recommend beginning in a world language or continuing your world language freshman year? Absolutely, I do. And that's why I listed it on that number 5 elective slot. Number 6, you have room for another elective. Number 7, I put possible elective because we offer the opportunity for you to take 6 or 7 classes. That first period of the day is optional. If you take 7 classes, your school day will begin at 7:30. If you take 6 classes, on average, your school day is going to begin, I would say around 8:30, 8:35. All right, it fluctuates based on the day of the week. All right, but that first period is optional. Once again, I referenced that earlier. Students, why do students take a first period? They take a first period to get a more enriching experience. They put another elective. They expose themselves to more material. All right, something that might be of interest to them. Okay. Do you have to take a first period? No. And then social science. Social science is new this year. Dr. Hester has done a wonderful job just looking at our curriculum and looking at pathways for our students. And that's something you're going to start hearing out of HF more. Career pathways, okay? Post-high school preparation pathways. And one of the ways in which we can help kind of put you on that track at an earlier level, we're moving social science, the world history class, to either freshman or sophomore year. Previously, it was begin sophomore year. This will be the first year, incoming freshman, class of 2026. You are the inaugural class. You can begin with world history freshman year if you want. It's your option. It is a graduation requirement. You can take world history. You have 4 options to take world history before your junior year. You can take it during your freshman year, during your sophomore year, or you can take it during summer, either between freshman and sophomore year or between sophomore and junior year. If you want to take it at the AP level, you have to do that during the school year. Okay, AP is offered only during the school year. Honors and college prep is offered during the school year and during summer schools also. Okay, but once again, let me stress, it's not required as a freshman, but you now have that option if you'd like to accelerate your social science. And then on track for graduation. Every year, your counselor is going to be looking at, is your child on track for graduation? At the end of freshman year, you need to have minimally 5.5 credits. 5.5 credits a year will get you to the minimum 22 graduation requirements. Freshman year will be required math, science, English, and PE. All students have to take at least 6 classes. For all students, the school day will run from 8:30 to 3 o'clock. If you take that first period class, once again, begins at 7:30 and runs till 3 o'clock. Okay. All right, course selection. What tools to use? Everything's electronic now. We are moving to an electronic world, even more so than ever before. You have all this information at your fingertips. The incoming freshmen required in elective courses. There is a document that we put on the HF website under the student tab. On the left-hand side is the incoming freshman class of 2027 link. When you click on that and scroll all the way to the bottom, you will see these resources listed. In that incoming freshman required in elective courses, every class available to freshmen is listed on that document. The first page are all the graduation requirements. The second page are all first period classes that are available to your child. And then the remaining pages are all electives available to incoming freshmen. Many schools, you might have 1, 2, maybe 3 to pick from. At HF, I got to count these up. I always estimate, I exaggerate and say there's thousands, but I think as a freshman, I'm going to say you have at least 30 to 40 classes to pick from potentially as an incoming freshman in terms of elective options, right? And I'm going to strongly encourage you, and I'll stress this later on, please do not take that choice lightly. If you put the time and energy in selecting those classes on the front end, you can really have a 4-year growth and development experience, putting you on a strong trajectory into college and career pathways. So, and we'll talk about that. All right. The course description catalog. We have many colleges come and visit us. They see the paper copy of it and they're overly impressed and they say, wow, this is like a college course catalog. Every class that we are offering is listed in that course description catalog. It's on that website, same page. In fact, I believe it's right beneath the incoming freshman link, right? All your course descriptions are laid out by department alphabetically, and all the course prerequisites. Prerequisite are, what do you need in order to take this class? For example, you cannot take geometry until you have the prerequisite of algebra. So algebra is the pre-requirement for you to take geometry. All right. Then there's the course selection guideline. The link to that is there on the page. Dave Cush referenced that. That really walks you through on another layer of information to think about when selecting courses. All right. And I'll talk about that in just a little minute. HF department chairs, they are a tremendous resource. All their contact information is in the course description catalog. All right, I believe it's on page 4 of the course description catalog. Their phone extensions are in there. Give them a call. One of the reasons why we're doing this presentation earlier is to give you more time to phone or email the department chair if you have a specific request or question regarding a core course graduation requirement, a course level rigor, okay, or expectation, or if you need to discuss, well, tell me about this elective, right? Tell me about that experience. Why would a student take that? Our department chairs are available, all right? In fact, they've all been notified and they are aware we're having this presentation tonight, and they look forward to your contact. And then, of course, students' previous report cards. I believe Dave referenced this. There is no better predictor of your child's current or future academic performance and success than their past performance. Now, does that mean they can't improve? Absolutely not. You are entering a school with a strong growth mindset. It's not overly important to me where you've been. Tell me where you want to go and we will get you there, okay? But grades are important. Grades do speak. And as parents and guardians, you know your child's prior performance. And we just ask you to consider that when selecting those courses. Because as Dave referenced, I'll go to my next page, as Dave referenced, while we want you to push your child, we want them to be in the most rigorous courses. But the key here is where they can be most successful. And HF defines success as A's and B's and the occasional C. And students, if you are on this with me, all right, the occasional C means over the course of 4 years, having no more than 2 or 3, maybe 4 at the most, C's over the 4 years, not each year. Why? There's a lot of reasons. I don't want to get into that right now. We will cover that at the beginning of the school year, all right? But those A's and B's, especially freshman year, it is foundational. It is foundational to a strong, rich 4-year academic experience. So challenge yourself when selecting those course levels. Don't overwhelm yourself. And that's why we go back to look at those report cards. You know you have that information regarding your child. And here's the other great thing about HF. It doesn't have to be all one level or the other. Find your classes that you're strong in, that you really excel in, that you love, that you're passionate about. Maybe those are your honors or AP level classes. And then the ones that you really that you're not as strong with, that you need some foundational support with. It's okay. It's still college prep, so it's college preparatory level courses and curriculum. Start at the college prep level. But as soon as you're earning an A or B at one level, we're going to strongly encourage you to move into that next level. Colleges are going to want to see that upward trajectory as well. Course levels, we have college prep level, honors level, and then we have our most rigorous, our AP and IB. All of our graduation requirements are offered at the college prep and honors level. Some are offered at the AP level, not all. Those offered at the AP level, freshman year would be AP World History, AP Human Geography, AP Computer Science, AP Art History, and in a rare occasion, depending on if you meet the prerequisite, AP Stats. All right. Of all those classes, your one graduation requirement of the AP at the AP level would be AP Human Geography. Do you have to take that freshman year at the AP level? No. You can take it at the honors level, or you can wait until your sophomore level if you'd like. Totally up to you, all right? But your freshman year, those are 5 classes that are offered to freshmen as long as you meet the prerequisite. And the only class that really has a prerequisite is the AP Stats class, all right? And then another thing, just parents, students that are on here, talk to your parents, have that conversation at home. I cannot stress enough right now the partnership between parent, student, and then school counselor. In fact, we are doing something different that's never been done in the history of Homewood Flossmoor High School. We're going to try something different this year because we feel so strongly about that partnership. The meeting that you have with the school counselor will be a school counselor. 99% of the time, it will be your child's school counselor. It may be me as a department chair, or it may be one of our 2 RTI counselors. But yours, like I said, most likely it will be with your school counselor because the link you are going to receive is going to put you right into your school counselor's calendar. All right, now I'll talk about that in just a minute. All right, once again, that partnership is key. Also think about 6 or 7 classes. Are you a morning person? If you're not a morning person right now, can you become one? Okay, if you're taking a 7th period class and you're taking the bus, you're going to get picked up by 6:15, 6:30, probably 6:30, 6:45. 6:15 might be a little early. That might be the time you're rolling out of bed, throwing your clothes on and running out to the bus stop to catch that bus. But those buses will drop our students off between 7 and 7:20 every morning. But remember, that first period class is optional. And about a third, it's a wide range, but about a third to 2/3 of our students in the past have historically taken a first period class, okay? And then choosing electives. I cannot stress this enough. You are, once again, another unique aspect of HF. You are in a school that offers an abundance of electives that allow you to begin to explore your interests and really begin to develop them over a 4-year course of development and potentially a career pathway that will springboard you into a continued development at the college level as well. In fact, we even have some of our students graduating HF going right into careers. Our students are highly sought after. And we're anticipating that to continue to change over the next 3 to 4 years as our students progress through high school. That world is changing drastically. So, and our job with our 2 full-time college counselors, and we have career counselor as well, our job is to be up on what that future is looking like so that we can make sure we advise you and your child to what we think might be a best recommendation for you guys to decide on. I cannot stress this enough. All right, you are going to walk through a Google form, a registration form in selecting your classes. Please don't take that opportunity lightly. Remember, choices you make today impact opportunities you'll have tomorrow. And I promise you this, they will impact. Students, do not wait. Do not wait and say, well, I'll start tomorrow. Before you know, tomorrow comes and goes very quickly. And then we're hearing, I wish I would have, or I should have. Start making those choices that are in your best interest today. And I promise you, the opportunities that you have afforded to you tomorrow, meaning down the road, in many cases are beyond your wildest dreams. We have students in programs. We have students that travel the world. We have students that go to college for free. We have students that are getting hired right out of HF into jobs paying between $50,000 and $75,000 a year within 3 to 5 years, right? And that's right now. Once again, have that conversation. Do your research. All right, don't take this opportunity lightly because we don't. All right, next steps. What does this look like? Real quick. All right. The top 2, where it says complete student enrollment form and complete proof of residency. These have to be done within the next week if you have not already done so. If we do not have your student enrollment form and we do not have your proof of residency in by next week, you will not be able to meet with your counselor. If you do not meet with a counselor by Monday, February 28th, then you'll have to wait till June. All right, because that window will close because those numbers go to the superintendent for sectioning. All right, I don't want to go into the weeds on that, but if you have not done your student enrollment form or your proof of residency, you need to do that before meeting with your counselor, or you won't be able to meet with your counselor. That appointment will be canceled, okay? Where do you find this information? It's on the HF website, all right? It's at the bottom of this page. It says information and links to the top two. They can be found on the HF website under the student tab, freshman class of 2026. When you get in there, scroll down to the bottom. You can download your student enrollment form. You can complete it online and you can email it back to us. You don't even have to bring it to school. All right, if you want to print it off and drop it off, you can do so. Please put it in an envelope and drop it off at one of our 2 security desks, either at the north or south building. If your child has an older sibling here, have them bring it in the guidance office. We're happy to take it that way. Proof of residency, that's non-negotiable. All right, you will have to prove residency twice. You have to prove residency for this process, and then all students will prove residency again in July or August when we do our book and tech pickup. So sometime over the summer, early summer, you'll start receiving information on that. So, but you do have to prove residency now. All the documentation that you need, it's all explained on the HF website. All right. What's going to happen now? The next step is complete the Google registration form and then schedule a Google meeting. How is this going to happen? Tomorrow morning after 11:30, you will receive an email. The email addresses that we currently have on file are what you have on file at your junior high, your child's junior high. So that's the email that this information will be sent to you. All right, I will be sending you actually through computer services, but I will be organizing that. You will receive an email, and in that email will be directions, and it will be a Google registration Google form specifically linked to your school counselor. All right, your school counselor will be the only one receiving that Google form. And then in that email will also be your school counselor's specific Calendly link in which you will be able to schedule a meeting to meet with your counselor, your school counselor. If there are no slots available to meet with your school counselor because they fill up, don't worry about it. You can email my administrative assistant, Linda McConaughey. We will have extra links for myself. We will have extra links for 2 other assistants, 2 other school counselors working in this office. And if you cannot meet with your school counselor because of their schedule and your schedule, you will meet with another counselor. It is the first time, once again, in the history of HF that all of our incoming students will only meet with a school counselor, okay? Both of those links will be coming to you in the same email tomorrow morning. You can access that right away. I'm going to ask that you don't complete that Google form just yet. Why? Because I'm going to ask that you take the weekend, take your time to work through the tools that we've given you, have those conversations. As you complete that Google form, you can only submit it once, all right? Now, if you change your mind after you submit it, don't stress. Because when you meet with your counselor will finalize all course requests. You can make any changes at that time, okay? All right, the other thing I want to highlight is summer school. I mentioned summer school in a couple different capacities already. If you want all the information, it's on our HF website under the academic tab at the top, and then scroll down to the bottom of that section, academics, you'll see a summer school tab. You have 4 options for summer school, 5, I'm sorry. Summer Academy, it's open to all students. It's a great opportunity for your child to be on campus for 6 weeks, almost 5 hours a day, It begins, summer school begins June 6th and ends Friday, July 15th. Every school day, it goes from 12 to, 12. It goes from 8 in the morning till 12:50. All right. In the summer academy, you get great exposure into our English, biology, and algebra. All right, preparation. We'll be working on developing study skills, organization, prioritization, how to really, develop strong executive functioning skills to start off strongly as a freshman. The most important day in your school year, freshmen, all right, is the first day. The second most important day, which then becomes the first day, all right, is your second day, and then every day thereafter. That's the way you need to think about this. Every day you're engaged is the most important day. The old mantra is, junior year is the most important in high school. It's not. Your most important foundational year in high school is freshman. And I want to go back and stress first semester. And I want to go back stress even more to the first quarter. Okay. And we'll talk about that next school year. Familiarity with the HF campus. It's great. Students that take summer academy, they're now walking around on this campus like a deer in headlights on that first year. This campus is 99 acres. There's 2 buildings. It's a quarter-mile walk between both. Our students do it every day. They manage it. But that first day, you're kind of king of the freshman campus, right? Because you've been on campus already. And you have relationships with peers already, friends, as well as staff members. So it's a great opportunity at Summer Academy. Is it absolutely necessary? No, it's not. Algebra Honors is open to students who are currently going to be enrolled in Algebra 1 Honors next school year. If you complete Algebra 1 Honors in the summer school with an A or a B, we will move you into geometry for your freshman year if you want to try accelerating your math. Geometry Honors, that is by application. If you are going into geometry and you want to try to accelerate geometry over the summer, you would need to talk to our math department chair, Mr. Dan McLean. All right. Biology Honors, that is by application also. You would need to speak with our science department chair, Ms. Kim Smith. And then there's summer theater. All right. You can do summer theater in one of the other classes. Now, here's something else. Summer Academy, Algebra Honors, Geometry Honors, and Biology Honors, all those classes are free this year. There is limited seating available if you're interested. Boy, I sound like an infomercial, I think, on that one, don't I? Let me clean that up a little bit. But no, seriously, there is limited seating because we received grant money and we were able to allocate so much to summer school to help students just get reacclimated back into the schools, into the school vibe. And summer school is one of that. So please consider participating in summer school. If you are interested, do not hesitate. The information is on the website. You'll need to contact Ms. Cindy Hayes. Her contact information is on the website, or contact the department chair of either math or science if you're interested in one of those 2 classes. And then the summer theater, the information to register for that class is also on the website, and you'll be registering through our 8 to 18 account. All right. One other thing before we get into the end of and we move into Q&A, health documents. You are going to need these before the school year starts. All right. Before the first day of school, turning them into HF, you're going to need a recent physical. If your child is a athlete or your child may be an athlete, please do not get a physical until after May of this year. I left 2021 in there. I meant to change that. Until after May of 2022. Why? Because that physical is good for 13 months. That physical will meet the requirements of all next school year. Students who get their physical, or let's say your child is a baseball player or badminton or girls track athlete, and you got your physical next week, February 20th or whatever. That physical would expire on March 20th of 2023, which means your child would automatically become ineligible until you were able to update that physical. And you and I both know how long it takes sometimes to get in the doctor's office. So please, once again, I'm going to stress, try if at all possible, if your child is going to be an athlete, all right, wait till after May of this year, all right, to schedule that appointment, okay? We will need a copy of your vaccination record. That's nothing new because of COVID. It's something that's always been required of schools, all right? And then additional medical information that you feel is pertinent to us, letting us know in order to be able to support your child for whatever medical reasons, please make sure you provide that as well. And then also an Illinois dental exam. Here's the thing, if you don't have those on file, technically you cannot begin school, all right? There's been some flexibility with that in the past, but let me stress this. A couple weeks into the school year, if we still don't have that information, those students have been sent home. Legally, we have to from the state. Now, the state may come in next year and say, no, you can't begin without this. Please position yourself to begin on day one and not have any interruptions to that. Have those documents with us at the very beginning. Before we move into our Q&A, I just want to take this opportunity to thank you. Thank you for staying with us throughout these last 45 minutes or so. You've heard from our principal, our new principal. We're excited to have him on board. Mr. Alexander, you've heard from Mr. Cush, our assessment office. Dr. Hester is with us. She'll be monitoring our questions and asking those, and Dr. Hester and myself will be able to answer those as we move through. So if there's anything that I can do to help you through this process over the next couple of weeks, please don't hesitate to email me. But I'm going to tell you right now, the best person to contact is my administrative assistant. She is absolutely phenomenal. Her name is Linda McConaughey. Her information is on everything that we've sent out, her phone number and her email address. But in case you can't find that, give her a call. 708-335-5612 is Linda's direct phone line. And if she or I need to take care of it, we'll get it taken care of. All right. If it's somewhere else that will take care of it, she will get your question to that person. Okay. So once again, either Linda or myself will be here to troubleshoot over the next week or so. Also tomorrow, when those emails come out, if you don't receive it, I'm going to tell you right now, it'll be after 11:30. If you don't receive it, check your spam. Last year, we had a lot of these emails going to spam for whatever reason. Check your spam. They may be in there. If you do not find an email, then contact Linda, and then she will be forwarding you your child-specific school counselor's registration Google form link and their Calendly. All right, we're going to move into questions at this point. Dr. Hester, do we?
Yes, we have. I've been trying to answer some in the chat. So for some of you, I've been answering. I think Mr. Cush has answered some as well, or earlier on he did. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top here. First one was, will students who are not from our feeder schools get an email tomorrow?
If you've spoken to Linda McConaughey should have your email, right? If you filled out the student enrollment form. If not, contact Linda. If you are in our database, right, meaning that you've been activated in Power School, then Linda should have your email in the system. If not, she will get that in there, and then she will also email you your child's school counselor links.
Okay, we've quite a few about residency, which you may have already answered in the presentation, but since we had so many, once we finish the residency information, will the link to the Google Doc be sent by email?
No, those are two separate things. So what's going to happen is you have to do residency and the student enrollment form separately. The Google link is automatically being sent to you tomorrow. If you are in our system, if you are in Power School, meaning if you are from our feeder schools that matriculate into Homewood Flossmoor High School, all of James Hart does, the majority of Parker does, but there are a handful of students that don't. based on boundaries. Those boundaries are on our website. And there are about 30 to 50 students from Brookwood Junior High that are in our system based on boundaries, and our students from IJP. If we have that information in our database, if we do not, then you need to contact our residency office. All right. That information is on the website. You need to start that process there, and then they will walk you through. Okay. Now, if you're in our system and we have your email address, you are getting an email tomorrow morning after 11:30 with those links. Once again, if you don't receive an email after 11:30 and you are from our feeder schools, or you've talked to Linda McConaughey, then contact Linda again and she will email you those links.
Okay, we have, I received these by email today too. There are a couple of questions about some of you who registered filled out the application for honors biology for the summer, and you haven't heard back yet. So I sought out the answer to that question today, and I've not heard back. So we will get information out about that communication.
I would say, I would add to that, Dr. Hester, they can always reach into Kim Smith. That application goes right into Kim Smith is our department chair of science. Not sure, what she normally does is she will get them, she'll hold on to them for a small window of time. She'll put them in a database, and then she'll either approve or deny. But to your point, to the point of the parent asking that question, Kim Smith would be the one who was approving those applications and notifying our summer school office.
And I think the emails that I received today, most people put Kim Smith on there. So we want to keep doing that. If my child takes a language first period, do they get 2 electives? And I'm assuming that means taking the language first period plus getting 2 electives.
Yeah, so the way I look at it, write it out on paper. So if what I'm hearing you say, you're going to take a first period class, which means you have 7 periods then. Those 7 periods are going to be world languages 1, okay? And then you have the 4 other freshman requirements, which are your math, science, English, and PE. There's 5 classes. You have room for 2 more electives, okay? You can take social science as one of those, even though it's not an elective. If you want to take world history as not an elective, AP human geography is an elective, all right? The world history is a graduation requirement. If you take the social science world history, then you would have room for 1 other elective.
Okay, next one. If a student takes the maximum course load and goes to summer school, is it possible to graduate early?
Great question. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, it is. We have a small number of our students graduate at the end of junior year. And then we have another very small percentage of our students graduate mid-year senior year. All right. The majority of our students will graduate after 4 years. The key here, though, is we always have the conversation of why graduate early, right? And there's a reason. So I've seen students graduate for a number of reasons, graduate early, and it's been right for them. That is a conversation to begin having with your school counselor when you meet with them. And then even though it's kind of putting the cart before the horse, but it's really not, because you're going to start planning that now, all right? And it's a conversation to have every year. So one thing you could do to help accelerate that early graduation is take that social science class freshman year. Now, the conversation I would have is why graduate early? What are you trying to accomplish? You have to be careful sometimes. And to us, we really work with our students to develop that post-high school plan so that when they get out, they're just not getting out and, okay, now I'm out of high school, now what am I gonna do? Our goal is while you are here at HF, have an enriching experience so that just kind of, propels you into whatever it is you want to do after high school. In addition to that, I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of our electives that you take here at the high end level, they are equivalent to college level courses. You can take them here free of charge, right? Outside of paying our taxes and our annual enrollment fee. But if you go to college, those classes will cost you starting now of anywhere between, I'll say $700 and $800 to $5,000 on up. per class, right? So some of those classes are really, and they could really fit in, but that is an individualized conversation. It's a long answer to your question, yes.
All right, next one is, where can we access our students' survey responses and course recommendations? So after they submit them, where can they access them?
Yeah, so Mr. Cush has those. He's working on getting those up to our office. The school counselor will have them and share those with you in a link when you meet with them. What I'd like to say is if I had them earlier, I could provide them. Right now, we're still finalizing on that document so that we can make it shareable with you. If you'd like to email me and request that, if I can get that before you meet with your counselor, I will try to get that document to you through email. If I cannot, though, know that your school counselor will have that. And then really, once again, the only information that's on that is everything that you have in terms of what's of what your child has done at the junior high outside of the survey question responses.
All right, Mr. Schmidt, we had a lot of questions, but they were early on about how you receive your counselor's appointment and if it's in person or online.
Oh, good question. They are remote, they are virtual. We did it last year for the first time. We heard an overwhelming positive response because of the convenience of it for our parents and students, and also the flexibility of it. The other thing that's going to be different this year, and is we started, normally last year we did everything on that Saturday. We did about 95% of our students on that Saturday only, but that's because we had a lot of other staff working with us, a lot of other teachers. This year, what we've done is we're just using the school counselors, and we're going to spread this window out. The first day of meetings that will be scheduled will be that Saturday, potentially, and then it will go on all the way through the 28th of February, and based on your school counselor's availability. So there will be some during the day time slots. There will be some evening time slots. There will be some weekend time slots. It just depends. So we built in another element of flexibility to that. So like I said, we got an overwhelming response last year, very favorable. That's why we're going to do it again this year and see how this works out. So if you cannot get an appointment for that 29th, don't stress, right? Your counselor will have available appointments between that 29th, the 19th and the 28th. And if none of those work with your child counselor, I have a lot of slots available that if you can't meet with your counselor, then you'll be meeting with me or one of my two other RTI counselors.
All right, Mr. Schmidt, one more time, how do they schedule the Google Meet?
You're going to receive that link in an email tomorrow. In that email, there'll be two links. One link will be your Google registration form. Make sure you complete that form and click submit. That once you click submit, that form, your answers will come into your guidance counselor's office, okay? And then once you click submit, then the other link will be, that will link you into your school counselor's Calendly program, and then you'll be able to schedule a meeting with your child's school counselor.
Okay. Next one's about summer school, and it's a question about credits. Is there a limit on credits that you can take through summer school at HF?
Yeah, because the day is so long, you can only take one class at a time. Traditionally, the answer, well, under normal circumstances, it's one, right? Because you can only take one class between 8 in the morning and 12:50 in the afternoon. The exception to that are students who take a theater, summer theater. That is also a credited class. So you could earn up to 2 credits, but only if you take summer theater. If you're not taking summer theater, you can only earn 1 credit.
So in general, taking summer school from HF, you generally get 4. You could generally get up to 4.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we've got some repeats here, so I'm just going to keep scrolling down. For students who are coming from an outside system and they've taken honors algebra at another school, do they need to provide a transcript before the counseling meeting?
Yeah, so and even if you don't provide it before the council meeting, don't worry about it. Our goal is to make sure that you are programmed in the right class. You can always do it after if you don't have it this year, or if you don't have it by your meeting. So first of all, if it is on another high school's transcript, all right, and you have that copy of that transcript, we will move you into the next level math class, all right? If it is on a junior high's transcript, okay, then you will need to speak with Dan McLean, our math department chair. He would have to issue a proficiency exam. You would have to show proficiency in algebra, and then you would move into geometry, all right? So if it is on a high school's transcript, we will accept it as automatic credit. If it is on a junior high transcript, we will not, unless it's from, unless that student has attended Parker, Hart, Brookwood, or IJP, and they've taken our HF curriculum.
Okay. It says, what email is available to email the residence verification?
It's on the website. I don't know the actual email. It's on that website, on that page.
Under links and resources?
Yeah, under links and resources, Jen. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I was just looking for it.
Oh, sorry, Jen, look above that. Look in the section above that, right above that, links and resources. It says residency.
Mm-hmm. I just see required proof of residency documents.
Is that a link?
Might be. Hold on. No.
Where?
We will.
Yeah, I can't. If I do this, I'll shut down my screen. We will look on that. It should be in there. The other person, here's what I'll tell you. The other person to email is Paula Luter.
And Paula's name is on the screen.
Okay.
Paula Luter is at the bottom. Please contact Paula Luter. When you click on that, that's a live link that goes directly to her email.
And I will look at getting that fixed. If that's not on there, I'll work with our HR office and getting that fixed so that email's on it. I know I've seen it somewhere, Jen. I'm just not sure where. I thought it was there.
And I think you already answered this one. There's not just one time slot on February 19th. The time slot span until the 28th.
Correct, the 28th.
Okay.
And you will find time, like on that Saturday, most counselors will be working starting at 8 in the morning till anywhere between 2 to 4 in the afternoon. Some of the counselors I know are scheduling meetings on their day off, the holiday, the 21st. So if you're around and available, some counselors are available that day, some are not. So we allow them to build that flexibility over the course of that week and a half in order to meet their scheduling needs as well as yours. So
there's some of you who have unique residency situations. I encourage you to go to Mr. Craig Fanton's office, and we already talked about his administrative assistant is Paula Luter. So our associate principal again is Mr. Craig Fanton, and you can either contact him, or if you contact Mrs. Luter, she logs all of those questions and makes sure that they get answered. There's a question about if I already have a current HF student, do I still have to submit residency documents? And the answer is yes. For every student in the state of Illinois who goes to school in a public school, they have to have residency documents submitted.
The unique thing about HF is you will do it first. I'm sorry, you'll do it twice for all incoming freshmen. All right, and I will tell you, I work here. Well, of course, obviously I work here, right? I'm on this school. I worked here when my 3 daughters came through HF, and I had to prove residency twice for each of them coming in freshman year. So freshman year, you will prove it twice, one now and one over the summer. And then every other year, you will prove it each year during the summer going into the next school year.
Okay, I think we've already answered about the Google form and the registration. Residency questions. Do you need a regular health exam and a sports physical, or will one count for both?
No, when you go get your health exam, you can bring that. I believe there's a link on the page to the health forms. You can just bring
There
that.
is.
Yeah. Your doctor can fill that out, and that would be the physical.
Okay. Okay, we asked that we have the email for the residency verification again. So right now, stick with Mrs. Luter, but we'll make sure that we confirm where that is on the website. Can Mr. Schmidt, I don't know the answer to this one. I think it's no. Can students enroll in the summer academy and the summer theater at the same time, or is the theater in the afternoon?
Yes, Dr. Esther, they can, because theater is so the theater class, I believe, begins at 1:30. Summer school ends at 12:50.
12:50.
And the theater begins at I think it goes from like 1:30 to 4 or 5 or something like that. So yes, you can.
And there's a question of whether summer academy is free as well as the other courses.
Thank you. That parent's question read my mind. So the academic courses are free. The summer theater is not, because summer theater is an extracurricular. It's not a graduation requirement. It's not foundational to core academics, right? And that's what the grant is tied to. So you can do summer academy, one of the 2 math classes or the biology honors. The cost of that and the cost of transportation is all covered by the grant. But I have to stress again, there's a limited number of seats, and once those seats are full, unfortunately, we are not able to add more classrooms to that, more seats. So if you are interested in summer school, please do not hesitate following through with those steps.
You already answered the transportation question. So yes, transportation for all of our summer school opportunities are free this summer. Will 8th graders taking the HF algebra honors now then take geometry freshman year? The answer to that is yes, upon successful completion of the HF honors algebra. And most of our students move from honors algebra to honors geometry. Some do go to regular geometry, but most move to honors. Next one is band camp available.
Yeah, that information is going to be coming out from Sarah Whitlock. Sarah Whitlock is the one that, I mean, she runs it. Email Sarah directly. I spoke with Sarah today. In fact, Sarah has sent out an email, I believe, to all current band students at the junior highs. I think in that email, she specifically mentioned what courses for you to register. She gave you the course code and the course title. That would be your first step in registering for a band for next year. And then she will be sending out additional information. She has all those dates and times. I'm not sure what those are.
Okay. I think you already answered that, but if my child is not an athlete, can the physical be from March of 2022?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Summer Academy, can you enroll now or do you have to wait until the 19th?
You know, it's, go ahead.
I was gonna say the form is up there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't wait.
Yeah, I go for it.
Hey, worst thing they can do is tell you no. Best thing they can do is tell you thanks, I got it. I know that they're anticipating that 19th being the start. And I know it's listed somewhere. I'll reach out to Miss Hayes tomorrow and just give her a heads up. Once again, I don't see, if you came to the presentation tonight, you have the information. I don't know what her process will be, but Miss Hayes would be the one that would give you a definitive answer to that question.
The next one is, where can we find the recording from this evening? So the recording will go to our coordinator for communications, and she'll make sure that it has all the accessibility features that it needs. And then I believe, Mr. Schmidt, it will be on the same page with the links and resources for the class of 2026.
Correct. Yep. Yes.
Okay.
Dr. Hester?
Yes.
And I think you said, I'm sorry, I got distracted. I was going to make sure something was happening with this program. Give us a couple days though, because we get that downloaded from the cloud. We then have to send that out for ADA compliance, right? It will be transcribed and then sent back. Normally that takes a couple days, so I'm anticipating Monday or Tuesday, we would have this link up in those locations that Dr. Hester referenced.
Okay. Again, just for the summer honors biology, you have to apply through an application. If you are having trouble finding that application at all, you want to email Mrs. Cindy Hayes, who is over summer school, or our department chair, Kim Smith. Okay, so this is one about if you're closing on a property and you have not closed on the property before February 28th, can the student still register?
You have to prove residency first through the residency office. That's Dr. Fanton's office, Craig Fanton's office. He's not a doctor yet. And then don't worry about it if you're not clear through there yet. Our next phase of registration begins in June. But that first step is through Dr. Fanton's office. You need to start there first. I don't know how flexible or what documentation he needs to give you the green light to move forward.
Yeah, he has to verify residency before anybody can be registered. So that puts the students into our system.
Dr. Hester, speaking of which, and I meant to mention this earlier, so our two offices do work closely together. If that residency is not completed before a scheduled appointment, that appointment will be canceled. That student enrollment form and that proving residency is of the utmost importance in order to move on in the process.
All right, next one is, can students who are not from a feeder school join the IB program or take an AP class? So our IB program actually starts in the junior year. We do offer a program, it's really a sequence of courses called the IB Prep Academy. And yes, so students who are not from our feeders do have access to the IB Prep Academy courses. And counselors would work with those students looking at transcripts and making recommendations. Students who are not in the IB Prep Academy, so all other freshmen, do have access to AP classes. And that's something that we'll talk you through to make sure that the AP class is something that you're excited about taking, you're encouraged and are looking forward to the challenge of an AP class. It's like an entry-level college course. That's why college credit can be awarded for certain institutions if you score 3 or higher on the exam. And in our AP classes for freshmen and all of them, you want to make sure you feel really competent as a reader, that you could read and process through multiple text and draw conclusions from those texts, cite evidence, and make original points. You also want to make sure that you're very competent in writing from sources. And I encourage anyone who is ready for that challenge to consider it. And then we also have a supported class that could be considered as well, so that students can get support with their first AP experiences. And if AP is not for you in the freshman year, consider the challenge of an honors course and get ready through the honors course and take an AP course as a sophomore or a junior. First day of school, are you looking at that right now, Mr. Schmidt? It's August, is it 17th?
It is August 17th. It's August 15th for staff, Wednesday, August 17th for students.
All right. Can freshmen take AP literature? AP Literature is a course that has prerequisites, and for most of our students, they take it in the senior year. They generally take AP Language and Literature prior to AP Lit. So it's really our most challenging to date course for English. I actually don't know the answer to this. For the purpose of summer school, is there a limit to the number of days students can be excused for previously scheduled vacation plans? So I'm sure there is, but I don't know the number.